What's going on, YouTube? It's your host, Bruce GNT, and we are here to talk about the jury selection for the Sean Diddy Combs case. Brother Love, as he likes to call himself. The jury selection has began, and what I want to do is that I'm going to try to keep my ear to the ground as much as I can when it comes to this case, because this is something that interests me, because I never really cared much about Diddy or pay attention to what's going on with him. I always heard people older than me talk about his exploits, what he's done, and what he's done for the rap community, what he's done for certain artists, and then I've also heard the negative things that have been going on, a lot of the rumors, which I'm still gonna say are rumors because a lot of it hasn't been proven. Be that as it may, let's jump into this video and let's see what they have to say.
Today, potential jurors were questioned and given a list of celebrities connected to Combs.
Okay, Fox 5's Lisa Evers was inside the courtroom all day, and Lisa today was all about finding the 12 men and women who will decide his fate.
Yes, and a very interesting day and a very busy day here at federal court, Stephen, Natasha. A lot is on the line for Sean Diddy Combs in this federal sex trafficking and racketeering case. If he's found not guilty, he walks out of the MDC a free man. If he is found guilty, he's looking at the possibility of spending the rest of his life behind bars. Now, several dozen prospective jurors were questioned today by Judge Arun Subramanian.
That shit looked terrifying. God damn. That nigga look like he bite. Well, to be fair, Diddy already looks like he bites anyway, just the way he looks, but this shit look creepy as hell.
As the jury selection process got underway in full force. Now, everyone being considered this week was part of an original group of 700 potential jurors who filled out questionnaires and they weeded through that number last week. Many were disqualified. So today, Sean Diddy Combs was in court wearing his court-authorized new trial uniform, which was a white shirt, a black sweater, black pants, sitting there, and glasses, paying very close attention to every single word that these potential jurors were saying, as well as what the judge was saying. Now, his lawyers, they did question some of them. By the end of today's session, more than a half a dozen were disqualified for various reasons. Now, Judge Arun Subramanian, one of the things he mentioned several times during the day, both the morning session and this afternoon session, was that jurors, obviously, many had already heard of this case, but the key point was whether or not they could base a decision and base a verdict on what is presented as evidence in the courtroom. Now, there were
That's going to be very hard to do because he's such a public figure, and especially the type of things that he's being accused of, heinous shit, I think it's going to be near impossible for them to find people that will be, I guess, a jury of his peers, while also being people that wouldn't be tainted or affected by the court of public opinion. Because at the end of the day, it takes a lot for someone to not have heard everything that's been going on with him within the past year, and then to come within the courtroom and hear everything that's being presented, whether it's facts or just allegedly being said, and not have some type of opinion, and have those two conflicting things come together to form their opinion about whether or not he's guilty or not. That's going to be difficult. Yeah, that's going to be a difficult one. And then not only that, I could have sworn I heard something about he was threatening people while he was in jail, calling his mom and his son and something like that. I can't remember. Alleged. You're gonna have to find some people that like some white Southern people to sit on this jury. I got some people right now. If I was to ask them if they know anything about Diddy, they'd be like, "Who's that?" And it's like, "Oh, yeah, you're perfect." Anyone else is just, they're gonna have their own biases in it, and not even people that would just be on his side, but people that just have biases toward people that have accusations levied against them when it comes to sexual assault.
Number of jurors who were disqualified today because of being sex assault survivors or having somebody close to them who was a sex assault survivor. Also, law enforcement people, anybody related to law enforcement, people who had encounters with the criminal justice system, and there were also people for various jobs and duties that they did that they took issue with. But they were very careful about it. It's really, as one jury consultant told me, a deselection process at this point, where they are eliminating people who are not qualified to serve. Now, one of the other reasons, there were several jurors who were disqualified because of their lack of proficiency in English. Some of them could not even fully understand the instructions that the judge was giving to them. There were other people who were there, and because of things that had happened.
I don't want to be that guy, but I know New York is very vast and diverse when it comes to the people that come there, so I'm not surprised, but it's you can't speak English? I'm just saying. I have no beef with immigrants or anything like that. I just have beef with people that can't speak English. And then I had a situation where I dated this girl for a while. She was allergic to shellfish, and we like to go to different restaurants, and it's really hard to convey, hey, look, she's allergic. You're going to kill her when the person doesn't speak English. It's very annoying.
Happened to them, domestic violence incidents to people that they loved were disqualified. And also another question that kept coming up, because was an additional questionnaire for these semifinalists, if you want to call them that, in the jury pool, was basically, would they be disturbed talking about sexual acts with other jurors as they were deliberating on a verdict, and would they be upset or traumatized by talk of descriptions and evidence and testimony about sexual assault. So it's extremely thorough. Seeing that process firsthand there inside the courtroom was really an eye-opener for me, and I know it was for a lot of the other people in there too, because they're very concerned about how the jurors will react to the type of evidence that is going to be presented. And also the other key concern was obviously the tremendous amount of pretrial publicity that has happened, that has been out there in this case, an unprecedented number of documentaries, and also, that people, could they really make their decision based on the evidence in court, not what they've seen in a documentary, not what they've seen in the media. But that's what's happening today. This will continue with day 2 tomorrow. Guys, back to you in the studio.
Huge responsibility, no doubt about that. All right, thanks, Lisa, for the insight.
Yeah, that's the hard part, because ever since he got hemmed up and he got, put in jail, I think I saw I know for sure one documentary. I can't remember if it was on HBO or Netflix, one of the two. I saw that they had a documentary. I was like, God damn, this, how hard it's gonna be for people to make a decision based only off the evidence, because there's been so much going on. Now you have to worry about the fact that their decision, that their opinion might be tainted based off of what's been going on in the media, especially because when you have such a high publicity client like this, someone that is being accused, and then not only that, they're being accused of such heinous things, that's a hard one. That's really a hard one, because now there's so many different factors kind of against them that they really had to look deep and really try to find, okay, can we trust these people to give them a fair trial? At the end of the day, everyone has the right to a fair trial and the right to be, innocent until proven guilty, no matter how you feel about it. That's just how it has to be. You have to be given the right to be proven guilty, but before then, you're innocent in the eyes of the law. You know what I'm saying? That's just how that works. But my opinions about it, do I think he did? I don't know, I'm 50-50. And the reason why is because I remember living in New York, and the stuff I used to hear just on the street. Yeah, him being a freak and, freak offs and everything like that wasn't nothing new, honestly. The specifics of it, that's a different story, Another thing too that we kind of have to pay attention to is that, and I'm not victim blaming, but what could happen is that people that were complicit in a lot what was going on here might flip and be like, well, I wasn't really complicit. And it's no, this has been going on for years, and you've been to several of these parties, and or you've been a part of this and that. This isn't just a clear cut and dry case. This has multiple different layers. And my opinion on it is that where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's a lot of smoke. There is a lot of smoke. Honestly, there is a lot of smoke. I think two things can be true at the same time. I do think that he won't be really given a fair shot, but at the same time, I honestly do think that a lot of what has been said, especially from people that, we're in those spaces and whatnot, do hold a little bit of weight. I think they do hold a little bit of weight. I'm very much interested in, and I know New York doesn't work like that, but I'm very much interested in, I don't know, maybe getting some information about the specifics about what was going on or something, because, you just want to know. That's it for this video. I'm going to try to keep up with it as much as I can. Any new thing that comes out, I either make a post or a video about it. Definitely going to be keeping my eye on this one. You guys already know the drill. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. Comment down below. Tell me your thoughts about what you feel about Diddy. I've seen many different opinions, from he's wholly innocent to he should get the death penalty. Both, in my personal opinion, are extremes, but I'm interested in hearing what you have to say. And subscribe if you want more. Peace.